All right, let's get into it. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on something that powers a huge part of the modern internet. It's something you use literally every single day, and you probably don't even know it. We're talking about JSON Web Tokens, or as everyone calls them, JWTs. So picture this. You log into your favorite website, you click on your profile, then you jump over to your messages, then you check out a friend's page. The whole time, the website just knows it's you and never asked you to log in again. How in the world does that happen? How does it remember who you are from one click to the next? Well, here's the thing. The web, by its very nature, has a terrible memory. It's designed to be stateless, which is just a fancy way of saying that every time you ask for a new page, it has no idea who you are. You're basically a total stranger every single time. So we need some kind of clever trick to constantly remind it, hey, it's still me. And that is exactly where the JWT comes into play. Honestly, the best way to think about a JWT is like a digital passport. It's this small, self-contained, and really secure little document that you carry around with you online. Every time you talk to a website server, you just flash this passport, and it proves who you are and what you're allowed to do. Now, if you actually saw one of these things, you'd probably think, what is that? It looks like a completely random jumble of characters, like someone's cat walked across the keyboard. It looks super complicated, right? But believe it or not, there's a really simple structure hidden inside. Okay, so let's break this thing down. That super long string of text, it's really just three separate parts, all mashed together and separated by a couple of dots. You've got the header, the payload, and the signature. Let's use our passport idea to see what each one does. First up, we have the header. Think of this as the cover of your passport. It doesn't have your name or photo in it. Instead, it just has some basic info about the passport itself. It tells the server, hey, this thing you're looking at is a JWT, and it also says which security method or algorithm was used to sign it. That's super important for later. The second part is the payload. Now we're getting to the good stuff. This is the main information page of your passport. This is where the info about you lives. It contains what we call claims, which are just little statements of fact. Things like your user ID, maybe your name, and crucially, what you're allowed to do, like whether or not you're an admin on the site. And what's really cool is that a lot of these claims are standardized. So you'll see things like sub for the subject, which is just you, or XP, which stands for expiration time. I mean, your real passport expires, right? So does your digital one. And you can even add your own custom claims like that admin one. This common language helps different systems all speak the same JWT language. And finally, the most critical piece of the puzzle, the signature. This is the tamper-proof seal. It's like the little hologram on your driver's license or passport. It's created using a secret key that only the server knows, combined with the header and the payload. If anyone tries to change even one tiny thing in your passport, the signature won't match anymore. It's our absolute guarantee that the token is legit and hasn't been messed with. Okay, so let's put it all together. Here's how it works in real life. 1. You log in with your username and password. 2. The server says, yep, that's you, and it creates a shiny new JWT passport just for you. 3. Your browser grabs that passport and keeps it safe. And then, for every single thing you do after that, your browser automatically sends that JWT along with the request. The server just takes a quick look, checks the signature, and says, welcome back, without ever having to look you up in a database again. And this right here is the magic of JWTs. It's why they're such a big deal. They let us build stateless systems. In the old days, a server had to keep this huge, clunky list of every single person who was logged in. With a JWT, the server doesn't have to remember anything. All the info it needs is right there in the token you send it. This is an absolute game changer for building modern apps that can handle millions of users. So to sum it up, why are JWTs everywhere? Well, 3 big reasons. They're really small and compact, so they're easy to send back and forth. That whole stateless thing is a massive win for making websites fast and able to grow. And since they're built on JSON, which is universal, pretty much every programming language on the planet has tools to work with them. But it's not a perfect system. And we need to talk about a really, really important warning, a travel advisory, if you will. That long string of gibberish we saw earlier, it's made using something called base64 encoding. And you absolutely must remember that encoding is not the same thing as encryption. What that means is that anyone who gets a hold of your JWT can very easily decode the header and the payload and just read what's inside. The signature stops them from changing the info, but it does absolutely nothing to hide it. This is why you should never, ever, ever store anything truly sensitive, like a password or a credit card number, inside a JWT. Just don't do it. And there are a few other things to watch out for. Because the server is stateless, it's actually kind of hard to cancel a passport before it expires. You also got to be careful not to stuff too much information in there, or the token gets big and can slow things down. And above all, the entire security of this system depends on the server doing its job and correctly checking that signature every single time. So let's wrap this all up. A JWT is a digital passport. It's a simple, compact, and verifiable way for you to prove who you are and what you're allowed to see and do as you travel across the fundamentally forgetful world of the internet. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question. Today, we mostly use this digital passport for logging into websites. But think about it. As more and more of our lives go digital, what other doors could a secure, self-contained identity like this unlock for us? What's next for our digital identity?